Yes, guys. Ryjack back for another live stream. Today we are here. Big Crystal Palace preview. It won't be too long of a live stream, but if you are watching on playback, of course, leave a like, comment your thoughts on Crystal Palace, how big, important of a game this is, of course, as you know, they always are in the Premier League, but honestly, this is a top four battle in the Premier League. This is a huge, huge deal. So, like I said, let me know your thoughts, of course, in the chat, in the comments, post live if you are available. Anyway, all things football in the chat. What's up, man? How are you doing? Welcome, of course. Always good to see you here. Channel is doing really well, guys. I really appreciate the support. We are close to 700 subscribers, and we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary of my first YouTube video. So that's pretty cool. 700 subs in a year. You know, maybe by the end of the year, or end of the Premier League season, I should say, we'll hit like 1,000, something like that. That would be pretty cool to see. So, anyway, not a whole lot in terms of transfer news to go over at the moment. We can always talk about it if we want, but I'll start with the Palace preview. We'll do a lineup builder, as we always do. So I've got FotMob up here. FotMob is the best. It's the best website that I always like to use, and if they are watching, they should sponsor me because they're the best. I use them every single day. Anyway, Palace, like I said, if you take a look at the table, top four clash. They're actually, I'm not going to say they're in a title charge because they're really not. They're not in a title race, but 26 points from 15 games, 7 wins, 5 draws, 3 losses. They are 7 points back from top of the table Arsenal. You know, shout out to Crystal Palace for doing as well as they are. Oliver Glasner, what a manager. Seemingly maybe going to get a big time job at some point. Maybe he just stays at Palace, but who knows. Football fan says, so score better and Arsenal will win the league. Maybe they will win the league. It's possible, but at the moment, it's a tight race at the top. 3 points separating first and third. I don't really think Villa are also in a title charge really at the moment. But Villa are a good side. They just beat Arsenal, so you never know. You never know. I would say it's probably between City and Arsenal. And I do think Arsenal, for what it's worth, have looked the best football fan from the teams in the league. But, you know, in form-wise, City are doing better form-wise in the last 5, for sure. Arsenal had a couple errors here. 2 draws and a loss in the last 5. Not ideal Premier League winning form for them. Anyway, like I said, back to the Palace preview. Glasner is I would say, really good manager, a guy that is impressive and, like I said, lined up for a new job, but he's got them playing extremely well. Yes, this is true. I didn't say they didn't. Villa did also defeat Man City. That is correct. Yes, I didn't say they didn't. Anyway, if you look at this predicted lineup, it is pretty much what you would expect. Really impressive back 5. Maybe bar Nathaniel Klein. Munoz, I guess, is out with an injury or something like that. But let's see. Yeah, Munoz out until January, which is unfortunate. Munoz is a big-time player. Again, I've seen links with moves to City in the past, Barcelona, some, but I maybe he'll just stay at Palace. I think he's actually a little older than most people would think from Munoz, but he'll be a big miss. I think he was the one that got the assist in the FA Cup final against us last year. Cherky finally getting his chance. He will cook. I hope so. I do think he will remain in the starting 11 probably, but you never know. Tyreek Mitchell is a pretty good, wing-back type player. I like him for sure. Mark Gahey linked with City, linked with Liverpool, linked with Real Madrid even. Really impressive center back for Palace, one of England's center backs, and will, leave in January potentially, maybe leave in the summer on a free, but of course one to watch. Leauge is very pacey center back. I like him a lot. Chris Richards, American. I'm familiar with him. Of course, I watch Chris Richards every time the USA plays because he's probably our best center back, which, maybe that's sad in and of itself. All Things Football says got to keep an eye on Wharton this game, even though I think the board prefers Anderson. Now, yes, that is correct. Adam Wharton has been a target of Man City for, I want to say, like 2 years now, 2 summer windows where we've seen links to Wharton, and at the moment it seems like the preference would be Elliot Anderson, maybe for the versatility. Wharton is a little bit more defensive of a midfielder than Elliot Anderson, but I'll be honest, I like them both. If Adam Wharton was the one we ended up signing, I would not complain. Kamada, probably not quite as good of a midfielder compared to, these other players that Palace have to offer. Yeremy Pino is actually like a Football Manager kind of legend. If you guys ever played Football Manager, Yeremy Pino has been a name I've known for a long time. Nice to see him getting, a good go of it at Palace now. He scored a banger the other day, by the way. Eddie Nketiah, former Arsenal player. He's, hit or miss here and there. And Jean-Philippe Mateta, what a baller. I used to think he wasn't any good, and I was definitely proven wrong. This guy is a bagsman, he's got massive, massive amounts of skill. Another player linked with a move away as well from Palace. Football fan says, is Foden better than Haaland this season? I would say no, probably not. Foden has been performing really well lately, but for the most part, I would say Haaland has been consistently good throughout the entire season, whereas Foden has been really picking it up over the last, month or so. So in general, I'm going to say Haaland has been our best player just for the sheer amount of goals he's been scoring. Football Manager memories, man. Football Manager, those are the days. Football Manager are the days. That was a fun game to play, guys. I can't lie. I'm a big Football Manager fan. I don't really play it anymore right now, but I knew the new game came out, so maybe I'll have to buy that and give it a look at some point. If you look at injuries for Crystal Palace, let's see. To Decore, he'll be out. Munoz, like I said, and Ismail Yassar is actually a big miss. The other ones I'm not super familiar with. They might be maybe younger players that haven't gotten a ton of game time for them, because I've watched Palace a fair bit, and these players I don't even recognize. But Munoz and Sarr are big misses for sure for Palace. City injured players-wise. Stone's still out. Kovacic still out. Rodri still out. The Rodri thing, I'm not going to lie, is concerning to me. I don't really get this not letting us know what the injury is exactly. I don't enjoy being in the dark as a fan. I feel like the club should be much more open about his actual timetable. I don't understand he will be back soon, and they've been saying soon for like a month now. It's so strange. Just let us know what happened, what his injury is. If it's a hamstring pull, and say we think it'll be a month, and then it gets to the month and we're like, actually it was worse and it's gonna be longer, that's better than just this soon nonsense. I don't understand. Same thing with John Stones. No one knows how long he's out. No, they said thigh this morning at the press conference and didn't give us a timetable, unfortunately. Kovacic as well. He's injured until January as far as I'm aware. How many trophies are City winning this season? It's a tough one to predict. How many trophies is a team going to win? But I mean, there's every chance. We have 4 trophies available as of now. We got the Carabao Cup, we have the FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League. We are going to give each competition a good go, and let's say we win one out of 4 would be good. I mean, last year we came away with none and still had a chance to win the FA Cup, but winning one of the cups and then one of the Champions League or Premier League would be an amazing season. 2 trophies is absolutely amazing. So anything more than 1, of course, is amazing. 1, I would be happy with for sure. But if I'm ranking the trophies, to me, of importance, number 1, I want the Champions League. First, most of all, Champions League. Second, Premier League. Obviously more than the cups. And then you rank the cups, I'd say the FA Cup and then the Carabao Cup is like way down in terms of importance, but I'd still like to win it. Nico Gonzalez balling out right now, but sad to see Rodri may be finished. I don't know that Rodri is finished. That feels a bit heavy to say that he's finished, but I am inching towards concern for Rodri. I get more concerned every game he misses and we don't see him. So I'm actually curious, when is the last time he played? He has not played since the Bournemouth game, November 2nd. So it's been about 5 weeks or so since we've seen Rodri. And if it is just a hamstring injury, I mean, should we be expecting a return soon? It depends. A hamstring could be like a 2-month thing at some point. So maybe January is when we see Rodri, but you never know with how that is going to work. You never know. You never know. Anyway, as I was saying, if you look at the team form, City are performing extremely well. For the last 5, we've gotten W's. Obviously, this game here, this Leverkusen, was a throwaway game that we just absolutely messed up the plot horribly and ended up throwing the game away unnecessarily. That Madrid win does kind of nullify that, so that's cool. Palace in good form, won 3 out of 5. Losses to Palace with some close wins, actually. 2-1 over Fulham, 1-0 over Burnley, and a loss to United here. Of course, Flop Mob has a predicted 11 here for City, which, to my best knowledge, it looks like it's the same 11 that we've been playing with, and I don't know that that's actually a good idea. I'm not sure about that one. Football Fan says, bro, World Cup in your country next year. You're going to go see Norway, France, and make a whole vlog, but you may go broke after buying the tickets. My guy, I would love to go to a bunch of World Cup games. However, the ticketing situation is a madness. The tickets are so expensive. I would give almost anything to go see the United States play a World Cup game. I have been excited about this opportunity for years. Since hearing we got the World Cup in 2026, I have been dying to get to a game. Now, unfortunately for me, I live on the East Coast, and every single group stage match for the U.S. is on the West Coast. So not only are the tickets expensive for the games, and they're very expensive, I would have to get on a plane and go fly 3 hours to either Los Angeles or Seattle, because those are the only 2 cities confirmed for the U.S. so far. So that sucks. Looking unlikely. Maybe if we advance kind of far and we get a game on the East Coast, like in Atlanta or Miami, I can make that work. But I cannot feasibly afford a plane ticket out west plus hotel rooms plus food plus the tickets to the game, and then a plane ticket back. Like I just don't have that kind of cash at the moment. I would love it, but unfortunately, you are correct. The situation with the tickets is awful. USA actually have a great chance in their group. This is facts. We got a fantastic draw. I was sitting here watching the draw when that was going on, and I was extremely excited. Anything short of an automatic qualification to the next round, topping the group, is an absolute utter disgrace for our country, which, we could totally do. We're not the best at this game, but I am excited to do a lot of content around the World Cup as well, like Watchalongs. That'll be awesome. After paying that money, we better be in the starting 11. That would be great. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. Now, I do want to do a predicted lineup for City, of course, like we always do here on the channel. One thing is interesting. Donnarumma, not really a shocker there, but I am concerned about Nico Gonzalez's minutes and the amount of minutes he has been playing. Actually, if I go back here and click on Nico G, I noticed this last time I checked. He has played so many full 90s in a row. It is absolutely a miracle that he hasn't been injured yet. This is 10 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 games. All the 90 minutes except for one against Fulham, and when he came off against Fulham, the wheels fell off and we almost blew a 5-1 lead. And before that, he wasn't playing because Rodri was playing. So in our last 10 games, he has played the full 90 minutes 9 times with a nice little 25-minute break that we almost absolutely capitulated without him on the pitch. So that's clearly concerning. We need Rodri or Kovacic back ASAP to lighten this load on Nico G, our young Spanish star boy in a way, because, man, he is just hamming out minutes at the moment. Anyway, There's a few positions that are easily filled, I would say, like Nico G he's just going to play. We don't have the personnel to put anyone else in that position, sadly. Up top, it's going to be Holland, of course. He will, without a doubt, play. The other positions are maybe a little bit more up for debate. You guys can let me know who you would be starting versus who you're not interested in starting, of course, in the chat. I would guess the back line is roughly the same. Gavardiol, I think, can certainly start, as with Ruben Diaz can start. This is our best center back pairing, although I would like to see Kusanov back in the team. John Stones is out injured. Nathan Ake, it doesn't really bug me if he doesn't really play much. I think he is potentially one to leave in January, but I do want to see Kusanov get minutes, and I just don't think you can drop Gavardiol or Diaz at the moment. Right back is interesting. Do you continue Mateus Nunes? Do you give Rico Lewis a game? Probably not, but I'm not sure. After the Ballon d'Or, we have rarely seen Rodri play. I missed 2023 Rodri. I know what you mean. I'm very grateful that we've got the very talented Nico Gonzalez filling in for him, but not having Rodri is a huge miss. I love Marmouche, but he never starts. He deserves a chance. I was about to talk about Marmouche as well. Marmouche is leaving for AFCON after this game. Do we play him in the hopes that we get something out of him, basically after getting nothing from the first half of the season here? Do we just leave it alone and run with the team we've got? But I don't know. I'm not really sure what the deal with Marmouche and Aït-Nouri is. I guess more so Marmouche than Aït-Nouri, because Aït-Nouri is not getting minutes because Nico O'Reilly's balling. Nico O'Reilly's been the best left back, or right there in the mix for best left back in the league. So, that's not super surprising, I guess. And with that being said, coming off his man of the match performance in the Bernabeu, I will say Nico O'Reilly maintains his position, and Ryan Aït-Nouri just has to kind of hold that, and he's just not going to play. ATF says drop Nunes for AK-45. He needs some minutes somewhere, if not center back. Can we do that? Can we put Kusanov at right back for this game? If you do that, my only fear is that this is not going to be Ryan Cherky. This is going to be Bernardo or Savinho or Bob, who I love, but I just think Kusanov is... limited is the wrong word, because of course he's limited going forward. He's a center back. He's not a right back. So, but in playing right back, he's very limited in terms of what he can do going forward. Maybe we will see Kusanov get some minutes, and if that's what you guys want to see, then by all means, I will put him in this lineup. Another player that's been in scintillating form is Phil Foden. I think he almost certainly starts the game and continues playing very well. Next to him, you have options here. Options for sure here. You've got Tijani Reinders as an option, Bernardo as an option, Cherky as an option. And I almost want to say, because we have kind of played the same lineup or the same 10 players recently, it might be a good idea to mix it up a bit here. And if I put Tijani Reinders here, if I could spell Tijani ever, I could find him. Tijani Reinders there as one of the attacking midfielders. And then I don't think you're going to see Reinders and Cherky and Foden. That really leaves a hole in the midfield for me. Maybe Bernardo is here as an option, but again, Bernardo is so limited going forward that I'm not sure that works. I prefer Reinders, not going to lie. Well, I do think Reinders has great potential and, of course, was purchased to be a starter. So him getting a start shouldn't be too surprising. I think Reinders could start this one here. I like that shout. But, and I know some people probably won't like this, I think that means Savinho starts on the right wing. And I know Savinho is a very hit or miss type player or a very controversial player where people don't like him very much. He was not very bad against Real Madrid. He was actually pretty solid, I would say, against Madrid. It was one of his better substitute performances. And I know that's not saying a lot because he's dropped some stinkers this year. But if he plays right wing, he gives us at least somewhat of a threat from this right-hand side that Kusanov doesn't have to provide. And, Pep has talked about Savinho working harder and getting back and recovering balls better than he has done in the past. So maybe that makes sense. Over on the left, this stinks of a Savio start. I kind of agree. I think it probably does in this scenario. You really only have two options. It's Omar Marmoush and it is Jeremy Doku. Doku has been very good for the most part this season. Omar Marmoush, like we've talked about, has not been super effective this season. I would probably just leave Marmoush out, to be honest, because he's leaving to go to AFCON anyway, and we'll see what we can get out of him when he comes back in January. Maybe that's a little bit harsh on Marmoush, but does it make sense to give him, the start when he's basically not gonna be here for the next month plus? I don't know. I think it's a conversation worth having. I would love to see Marmoush start and get an hour, but I don't know that that's gonna happen. Yeah. Football fan says, I want Omar, but Pep, of course, will play Doku. I kind of feel this way, too. I would prefer Omar Marmoush, personally, to see him start, but I would think it's probably going to be Jeremy Doku starting. And with that, you would see, let's count them. I don't think it's only 3 changes to the lineup. It'd be Reinders coming in for Cherki, Savinho coming in for Bernardo, and Kusanov coming in for Mateus Nunes. I guess another potential shout is Rico Lewis in the midfield. He was pretty good in the FA Cup final last year against them, if I remember correctly. So maybe there's an argument for Rico Lewis, who has just not gotten any game time recently. Honestly, I do wonder when his last bit of game time actually was. It might have been that Leverkusen game. Let's see. Yeah, Leverkusen, 45 minutes, hooked at halftime after a stinker of a game. So he hasn't played in 8 minutes in the Sunderland game, which, game was over. Not that big a deal. And then no minutes in these other games here. So maybe it is time for him to come back in and play. He's got 2 full games of minutes played and 15 available, which is just... It's so minimal. It's so minimal for Rico Lewis here, man. So minimal. I don't know what you do with Rico Lewis. Honestly, looks like a player that we maybe should have cashed in on in the summer when Forrest wanted to give us, 40 million or something like that. Now he's a player on the bench who doesn't even play. Are we going to get that money in January? Probably not. Are we going to get it in the summer? Probably not. He's not going to go to the World Cup. To boost his value. It's kind of unfortunate, the Rico Lewis situation, because with the academy guys, you always want them to succeed. It feels better when you see an academy guy come through and he's English, and I'm not English, so it doesn't make a difference to me, but it's nice to see like the pictures of the players who were 6 years old wearing the and they were at the U6 level or whatever playing for City. That's cool to see. So it doesn't feel great when you basically have to tell them they're not good enough and they're going to have to leave. And they've been here for 15 years or something like that. Rico Lewis should be sent on loan at least. I think a loan or a sale with a buyback in January is definitely on the table, because City certainly want to add to the squad in January. I don't know if that's, 3 or 4 players, but I do think 1 or 2 City will look to bring in. And if you consider the size of the squad, we're up to, basically the maximum amount of players registered for the Premier League. You're going to have to get some out to bring some in. And the two players I think are most at risk of being sent on loan slash sold in January is Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis, two academy players. And who comes in to replace them? Of course, we don't know yet. It could be Antoine Semenyo. It could be Rodrigo. There was a link today to an RB Leipzig player who looks like a young, fun, attacking winger. Maybe he doesn't come in January because they were talking big cash for Yan Diomande. But fair question, what player do you want coming in? If I'm picking any player in January, I would like Antoine Semenyo because I believe in his positional versatility. He can play on the right, can play on the left. He probably would play on the right mostly, just because that's, I think, our weakest side right now. 65 million pounds is not overly, big on the books for City. I would be pretty happy with Semenyo. He's just had such a good season. He was really good last year for Bournemouth. And I know it's a big step up, but he's leaving. He's leaving Bournemouth, and he's either going to Liverpool or us, is what it seems like. And I'd much rather him come to us, strengthen us, than strengthen one of our direct rivals, even though Liverpool are having an absolute stinker of a season. If I could pick any player, I'd be picking Michael Olise because he's the best, potential right winger probably in the world, bar Lamine Yamal, who's ungettable. But I don't think Olise is very achievable either, so I go with Antoine Semenyo. What do I think about the Mo Salah situation? It's a weird one because on one end, if you think about it as far as Mo himself, he feels like he's done enough to basically deserve to start every game. If you feel it for Slot, it's like, you're not playing very well, I'm dropping you. So I think it's a bit dramatic from Mo Salah, but the guy wants to play. What else is he supposed to do? Maybe he's already gone to the manager and said, I want to play. This is ridiculous. Why are you not playing me? And they said, suck it up, deal with it. And, he's decided this is what he needs to do to get out of the club. I probably wouldn't personally do it that way, but, it is what it is. The players have their own motivations, and he is not a happy boy, obviously, with what's going on. So I kind of, it is what it is. I kind of like it when players speak out and talk to the media and voice their frustrations, because it's fun to see, it's fun to talk about, but I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. Like, here in the U.S., players speak like crazy about their teams and about their situations. So, like, for me, Mo Salah's words were not actually that harsh compared to what I've seen from, like, American sports players. So maybe that's why I'm a little bit more calm about it versus people who are, up in arms and furious that he would ever say anything to devalue the club or anything like that. But it is what it is. It's 5 a.m. in my country, but I love your videos. That's what I'm talking about. That's big time support. That is big time support right there. Appreciate it, my guy. Appreciate it, my guy. Anyway, we are approaching the 30-minute mark here on the live stream. So, unfortunately, that is the end of my preview. I am going to say I do think City win. I know it's at Selhurst, and I know Palace are playing extremely well, but I'm going with a win. City are balling right now, playing super well. We get maybe a bit of rest and rotation, and we still keep up that level that we're at. I think we win. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Man City win. It will be a close one, and I will be doing a live watch-along for the game here on the channel Sunday morning for me. So if you are interested, come back to the channel, watch the game with me, and we can chop it up in the chat like we always do. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, of course, and I will see you in the next one. Like and subscribe on the way out. Very, very helpful for the channel. Almost at 700. Anyway, see you guys later.